Hey everybody, welcome to Everything Hollywood, starring Larry Namer and Omar Akram. As you can see, Omar Akram is not here today, so I'm filling in for him. My name is Johnny Vegas, and I have some relation to our host here, Larry Namer. But yeah, I'm Larry's son, as many of you know, but I go by Johnny Vegas. And Larry, my dad, he's been over in New Jersey hanging out on a yacht with my aunt and uncle and cousins. So, Dad, how's it been over there?
It's been pretty good. I mean, I got to say, I've been eating good in New Jersey, and the hanging out at the marina with the family is certainly quite different than what is typically depicted on shows like the Jersey Shore. It's been
Mm-hmm.
a lot of fun, a lot of good. Today is a Jewish holiday, and
Yeah.
I can't really honestly say that I fasted, but I was supposed to, and tonight we'll have the big holiday celebration and food and all of that good stuff. But let's talk about what's going on in Hollywood. First and foremost, our governor, came through that recall election, which was quite tight for a while, but ended up turning out to be pretty much a landslide, keeping him in office and stuff. So. Uh, I think it really says a lot for all these thoughts about California, turning to be a red state and stuff. Not going to happen in my lifetime. Probably won't happen in yours either.
Yeah. And it shows, people came out to vote or they did their mail in ballots. So even with that we're still in the pandemic and people turned out in the voting situation. So it's good to see that for sure.
Yeah, no, yeah, I mean they got a big turnout and stuff, but I think in looking at it, and quite honestly, I'm more of an independent than I am anything else. I was just amazed that the Republican Party, who really looked like they did have a shot of turning things for a while, really got behind a candidate that I didn't think had any chance of winning. I mean, you want to talk about conservative fiscal policy and stuff like and business policy, that's one thing. I mean, I think a lot of people are open to that and they're not happy with the way things have been, but then when you put up a candidate who really starts getting into things like, is against women's rights and against gay rights and gay marriage and is anti-vaccine and anti-mask and stuff like that. I just don't get why they took it down that road. It made no sense to me. I mean, it was just, making people, who may not have voted say, hey, there's no way in the world I want this. But, we'll see if Newsom, kind of learned a lesson from this and, really starts focusing on bringing business and people back to California and stuff because a lot of people are just not happy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. And to segue into stuff that's going on in entertainment, the first Marvel movie to be released solely in theaters. I believe they're giving it at least a few weeks time without putting it on streaming on Disney Plus. Shang-Chi has really done great at the box office, and it's really cool to see, as you're probably well aware of the cultural impact this has, being such a successful Marvel film.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting for us because, as you know, through the company Metan Global, we have offices in Beijing and we do a lot of stuff in China. We do a lot of stuff outside of China for China, and we work very closely with, a lot of the Asian communities and stuff. And, quite honestly, this has been a revelation. People used to say, oh, well, you can't make movies with Chinese stars because they won't do well. And, then came Crazy Rich Asians and kind of woke a lot of people up. And I think it really kind of helped the whole situation with getting a movie like Shang-Chi made, with a Chinese, an Asian superhero. So I think it really does show everybody that we are really now a global community and stuff, and we're not necessarily U.S. centric media and entertainment world, and that we can bring other cultures into the forefront, and let them have their own superheroes and stuff, and that those do translate across the globe.
Yeah.
So overall, it's a really good thing. I think it opens up a lot of new avenues for filmmaking or TV making or content in general.
Hmm. And I know that Kevin Feige was did an interview, or it was a press conference where he said that Shang-Chi was an experiment, and that didn't go well with the lead actor of Shang-Chi. He came out pretty outspoken against that, and whether it was an experiment or not, I think Kevin Feige's learned his lesson with the way he talks about it.
Yeah, no, I don't think he really thought about it, in a negative way. And when he said experiment, it really did show that they were looking at a new way of doing things and seeing how it worked. I mean, not just in terms of having Asian actors or an Asian lead, um, but getting back to the more traditional ways of releasing movies, first in the theaters and then bringing them to TV. With some window in between. So again, I think he's done a lot of great work,
Yeah.
and he's never really been accused of being negative about other races and stuff. So I think his comment was harmless from the way he meant it, and I think you're right. I think he's learned to be more careful with how he speaks.
Yeah. Well, right now we're going to take a break, and we will be right back.
We're all fans of something or someone, investing our time and loyalty, but getting little in return. Well, it's about to change forever with FanVestor, a platform that lets you get in on celebrity businesses early on, buy shares of their new startups, support a charity and new product drops, and share once-in-a-lifetime experiences with them.
What's up? It's Amari Stoudemire here, and we're launching Masa with FanVestor to offer a limited edition, perks, products, and experience to my fans.
Here's how it works. Go to fanvestor.com. Choose an opportunity you want to get in on. Click here and there, and you're done. Go check your email for the investor's certificate. And don't forget to check back often for updates on your new business investment. It's official now. Celebrate your support with an experience. Go 10 rounds in the gym with Amare, get a matching tattoo with super dope Q, or get on FaceTime and hang out by the pool with DJ Khaled. After all, you're more than a fan now. You're a FanVestor.
Welcome back to Everything Hollywood. And right now we're going to talk a little bit about some shows that are getting a reboot or sequels. For instance, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is back. It's they got a new cast. It's a reboot, so it's not a continuation of the original series. But just so you guys can tell that Will Smith is very on board with this. He actually broke the news to the lead actor that he was going to be playing his role that he got famous for in the original Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. What are your thoughts on it? You think it's a good idea to reboot it, or would you have done a continuation?
I think the reboot is kind of interesting. There's a saying that everything old is new again, and I think there's a good example. Uh, when shows like that were done, it was a different place, a different time. I mean, the world was different, and people were different, and audiences' expectations were different. So, I think for somebody in the business, for me, it's very interesting to see how those shows would be, let's call them, reinterpreted in light of where the world is today and the things that are going on. So I think it's good. They're proven commodities, um, and they'll get an audience probably bigger because not only will they use modern actors to attract new people to it, but they'll also get a lot of people who used to seeing the originals being very curious as to see what's out there. So
Yeah.
yeah, good.
Yeah, and this also brings up the point that a lot of shows in the last few years are getting a revival. If you look at the Roseanne show, look at Fuller House, Dexter is coming back. There's just a lot of shows that are getting another chance. The Saved by the Bell revival that happened, and then there's some shows that some probably Alexander maybe even liked growing up, like the iCarly show had an adult version that just finished its first season.
Yeah, and again, from somebody who's in the business, I'd like to see it as, a way to reimagine or rethink those shows in light of, today's modern world, as opposed to, and I hope the networks are not thinking of it. This is just a cheap way to get programming on and just redo them the same way they were before. So I think it provides some interesting creative opportunities. And I just hope that the studios and the networks really take those.
Yeah. And some bands are coming back. ABBA has announced that they're releasing an album for the first time in 40 years, and they're doing a new kind of show that they're going to be doing. It. The way they described it was the fans will go to an arena and they'll see virtual avatars of them performing. Is what I gathered from their video that I saw.
Yeah, I kind of get the same thing, and I'm very tossed on that one. I mean, number one, I don't think the younger world knows ABBA or remotely understands how big they were at one point. Quite honestly, somebody I've lived through it. I still don't understand the popularity of ABBA, but they were huge. But who would go to see avatars would be younger people. But if those people don't know ABBA, are they going to go to see that? I'm very curious as to how that's going to do. I don't really see myself caring about it very much, but we'll see. I've been wrong before.
Yeah, and also before we take a break, we'll lead into the break with this. Viacom is management is having a shakeup, so when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about that.
The reason why I created Hair Dope is because hair colors are popping everywhere. A lot of people, your favorite rappers, your favorite singers, your favorite artists, whoever, they're dyeing their hair, they're doing things like that, and this is a world full of color. So I feel like I want to feel like everyone can express themselves through my color. Well, to me, the importance of entrepreneurship is having a career that's longevity. A lot of people jump into the game and into careers of being an entrepreneur and not having longevity in what they're doing. So that's what I really feel like. You have to put your all into it. It has to be from the heart. You have to have longevity. You have to be able to stay in and stay active.
Welcome back to Everything Hollywood. And Dad, I know there's some news about Viacom. Why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, interesting stuff going on there. With the departure of Sumner Redstone, running both the Viacom side and the CBS side, and Shari Redstone, his daughter, taking over both. Some interesting changes there at the very top. Of things like merging the CBS operations with the Paramount Viacom operations and stuff. But some of the long-standing players there, like Jim Giannopoulos over at Paramount, what we hear is people like Jim are going to be out. These were the traditional filmmakers and very traditional media people, and they're being replaced. And again, as we understand the rumors, replaced with people that come out of more of the new world of streaming and things like that. So very interesting to see this new direction for Viacom. And I think, I don't see much of a change in, let's say, the CBS side of the world or the TV production. They'll still keep going with that. But, then you look at, some of their cable properties like they just VH1 and MTV and Comedy Central and stuff like that. I think you're going to see a much, much bigger emphasis on them being less of linear TV networks than as being um, digital content providers and stuff. So it's one of the things we got to keep our eye on. But I see some major shifts in the way that the Viacom family is going to be doing business.
Yeah. Well, and let's talk about a little bit of the award show scene. The Emmys are coming up. What do you know about that?
Yeah, Emmys will be up. Yeah, we're pretty close to it. We're less than a week away, and or we are a week away, and it'll be interesting. A lot of digital networks are nominated. Netflix dominates the pack, but we've seen HBO Max now coming up, and Amazon and Paramount Network, and I think it's a good thing because it really does show that you know, people who used to poo-poo those digital networks as being second to the bigger networks have now come to realize that there's amazing quality that's coming out of there. And, in my opinion, TV has never been better than it is today. People who keep saying that TV is dead and stuff, TV is not dead. I mean, if you watch it on your cell phone, or you watch it on your computer, you watch it on a 60-inch television set, it's still the same content. It's storytelling. It's just the screen is different. Um, but it's given an opportunity for a lot of the stories that couldn't find a home before because maybe they were too controversial or too offbeat, and now finding a home in a lot of places and stuff.
Yep.
And because the Netflix and stuff have done so well, it's actually forced the traditional networks to be more thoughtful and more adventurous and stuff. So overall, I think it's made everybody better.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree, and it's good to see things coming back. The VMAs just had their award show, which I didn't catch the whole thing, but it seemed like it was good. The most topical thing that happened was on the red carpet. Conor McGregor got into a scuffle with Machine Gun Kelly, who I still am not too fond of his music, but um, yeah.
I'm not terribly fond of either of them. So if there was a way that they both could lose the fight, I would have been happy. But it
Hmm.
typically doesn't work that way. Um, but yeah, things are coming back, and I'll be back in quote Hollywood next week, and um, events are starting to come back. Things are beginning to normalize, and Hollywood, when I say Hollywood with quotes, is beginning to look more like I've always known it and stuff. So good. I miss things like Comic Con and
Yeah.
those kind of things. So
Yeah. Well, anyways, it was good hosting the show with you, Dad. And everybody, thank you guys for tuning in every week. Everything Hollywood is available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Pandora, Buzzsprout. The list goes on, and our video podcast is on YouTube. You can like and follow us on all social media, Everything Hollywood, and we'll see you guys next week.
yeah. Now one more thing. So if you guys really like the show and you think Johnny Vegas did okay, send an email, let me know, and maybe if he's a good boy, we'll give him his own show.
All right. We'll see you guys next week.